Peter Edward Pete Rose, also known for his nickname Charlie Hustle, is a former Major League Baseball player and manager. Rose played from 1963 to 1986, and managed from 1984 to 1989. Rose, a switch hitter, is the all-time Major League leader in hits, games played, at-bats, singles, and outs. He won 3 World Series rings, 3 batting titles, 1 Most Valuable Player award, 2 Gold Gloves, the Rookie of the Year award, and also made 17 All-Star appearances at an unequaled 5 different positions. In August 1989, 3 years after he retired as an active player, Rose agreed to permanent ineligibility from baseball amidst accusations that he gambled on baseball games while playing for and managing the Reds, including claims that he bet on his own team. In 1991, the Baseball Hall of Fame formally voted to ban those on the permanently ineligible list from induction, after previously excluding such players by informal agreement among voters. In 2004, after years of public denial, Rose admitted to betting on baseball and on, but not against, the Reds. The issue of Rose's possible reinstatement and election to the Hall of Fame remains a contentious one throughout baseball. Early life: Pete Rose was born April 14, 1941 in Cincinnati, Ohio, one of 4 children born to Harry Francis Pete and Laverne Rose. He was a member of the Order of Demolay as a young boy, and was encouraged by his parents to participate in sports. He played baseball and football at Western Hills High School. Although Pete Rose was small for his age, he earned the starting running back position on his freshman football team. When he was not promoted to the varsity football team in his sophomore year, Rose was dejected and soon enough lost interest in his studies. At the end of the school year, Rose's teachers decreed that he would have to attend summer school or be held back. Harry Rose decided that it would be better for Pete to repeat a year of school than miss a summer playing baseball. Plus, it would give Pete an extra year to mature physically. When Pete reached his senior year, he had already used up his 4 years of sports eligibility, so in the spring of 1960, he joined the Class AA team sponsored by Frisch's Big Boy of Lebanon, Ohio in the Dayton Amateur League. He played catcher, second base and shortstop and compiled a .626 batting average. This would have been the pinnacle of Rose's baseball career if not for the help of his uncle Buddy Blue Ebaum. Blue Ebaum was a bird dog scout for the Reds and he pleaded the case for his nephew. The Reds, who had recently traded away a number of prospects who turned out to be very good, decided to take a chance on Pete. Upon his graduation from high school, Rose signed a professional contract. Playing career: Cincinnati Reds, Rookie of the Year. During a spring training game against the Chicago White Sox in 1963, the Reds' regular second baseman, Don Blasingame, pulled a groin muscle. Rose got his chance and made the most of it. During another spring training game against the New York Yankees, Whitey Ford gave him the derisive nickname Charlie Hustle after Rose sprinted to first base after drawing a walk. Despite the manner in which Ford intended it, Rose adopted that nickname as a badge of honor. In Ken Burns' documentary Baseball, Mickey Mantle claimed that Ford gave Rose the nickname after Rose, playing in left field, made an effort to climb the fence to try to catch a Mantle home run that everyone could see was headed over everything. Rose made the club, and made his major league debut on April 8, 1963 against the Pittsburgh Pirates and drew a walk. After going 0 for 11, Rose got his first major league hit on April 13, a triple off Pittsburgh's Bob Friend. He hit .273 for the year and won the National League Rookie of the Year award, collecting 17 of 20 votes. Rose entered the U.S. Army Reserves after the 1963 baseball season. He was assigned to Fort Knox for 6 months of active duty, which was followed by 6 years of regular attendance with the 478th Engineering Battalion USAR at Fort Thomas, Kentucky. At Fort Knox, he was a platoon guide and graduated from United States Army Basic Training January 18, 1964, 1 week before his marriage to Carolyn. Rose then remained at Fort Knox to assist the sergeant in training the next platoon and to help another sergeant train the fort's baseball team. Later in his Fort Thomas service, Rose served as company cook, which entailed coming in early for the one-weekend-month meeting so that he could get out early enough to participate in local Reds games. Other Reds players in the unit included Johnny Bench, Bobby Tolan, and Darrell Chaney. Early years: on April 23, 1964, in the top of the ninth inning of a scoreless game in Colt Stadium, Rose reached first base on an error and scored on another error to make Houston Astros' Ken Johnson the first pitcher to lose a complete game no-hitter. However, he slumped late in the season, was benched, and finished with just a .269 average. He continued to play in the Venezuelan Winter League with Leones del Caracas team during 1964 Euro 1965 season to improve his batting. Rose came back in 1965, leading the league in hits and at-bats, and finishing sixth in NL MVP balloting. It was the first of his 10 seasons with 200-plus hits, and his .312 batting average was the first of 9 consecutive .300 seasons. He hit a career-high 16 home runs in 1966, then switched positions from second base to right field the following year. In 1968, Rose started the season with a 22-game hit streak, missed 3 weeks with a broken thumb, then had a 19-game hit streak late in the season. He had to finish the season 6 for 9 to beat out Mattiella and win the first of 2 close NL batting title races with a .335 average. He finished second to St. Louis Cardinals pitcher Bob Gibson for the NL MVP award, earning 6 first-place votes. Rose had his best offensive season in 1969, setting a career high in batting and tying his career-best 16 homers. As the Reds' leadoff man, he was the team's catalyst, rapping 218 hits, walking 88 times and pacing the league in runs with 120. He hit 33 doubles, 11 triples, drove in 82 runs, slugged .512, and had a .432 OBP. Rose and Roberto Clemente were tied for the batting title going into the final game. Rose bunted for a base hit in his last at-bat of the season to beat out Clemente. 1970 All-Star Game: on July 14, 1970, in brand new Riverfront Stadium, Rose was involved in one of the most infamous plays in All-Star Game history. With 2 gone, Rose batting against the California Angels' Clyde Wright in the 12th inning, Rose hit a single and advanced to second on another single by the Los Angeles Dodgers' Billy Grabakowicz. The Chicago Cubs' unregistered trademark Jim Hickman then singled sharply to center. Amos Otis' throw went past Cleveland Indians catcher Ray Foss, as Rose barreled over Foss to score the winning run. Foss suffered a fractured and separated shoulder, which initially went undiagnosed until the following year. Foss continued to hit for average, but with diminished power. He had 16 home runs before the break but only 2 after. He played through the 1979 season, but never approached his first-year numbers. The collision also caused Rose to miss 3 games with a bruised knee. 1973 season. In 1973, Rose led the league with 230 hits and a .338 batting average en route to winning the NL MVP award, and leading the Big Red Machine to the 1973 National League Championship Series against the New York Mets. During the 5th inning of Game 3 of the series, Joe Morgan hit a double play ball to Mets first baseman John Milner with Rose on first. Rose's slide into second attempting to break up the double play incited a fight with Mets shortstop Bud Harrelson, resulting in a bench-clearing brawl. The game was nearly called off when, after the Reds took the field, the Shea Stadium crowd threw objects from the stands at Rose, causing Reds manager Sparky Anderson to pull his team off the field until order was restored. Mets manager Yogi Berra and players Willie Mays, Tom Seaver, Cleon Jones, and Rusty Staub were actually summoned by NL President Chub Feeney out to left field to calm the fans. The Reds ended up losing that game, 9-2, and the NLCS, 3-2, despite Rose's unregistered trademark S.381 batting average in the series, and his 8th inning home run to tie Game 1 and his 12th inning home run to win Game 4. The Big Red Machine. The Cincinnati Reds of the 1970s earned the nickname the Big Red Machine, and is widely acknowledged as one of the greatest teams ever. On a team with many great players, Rose, along with Hall of Famers Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan and Tony Parr. Copyright Res, was viewed as one of the club's leaders. In the year 1975, Rose earned the Hickok Belt as Top Professional Athlete of the Year and Sports Illustrated magazine's Sportsman of the Year award. The following year, he was a major force in helping the Reds repeat as World Series champions. The 1976 Reds swept the Phillies 3-0 in the 1976 National League Championship Series, then swept the Yankees 4-0 in the World Series. The 1976 Cincinnati Reds remain the only team since the expansion of the playoffs in 1969 to go undefeated in the postseason. The Reds had not lost a postseason game since Carlton Fisk's extra-inning home run in the 1975 World Series, a span of 8 straight wins. A significant factor in the Reds' success was that in 1975 and 1976 Rose made a successful switch of his primary position from the outfield to third base. This move filled a void and helped to solidify the Reds team for these 2 championship seasons as it enabled the team to make greater use of power-hitting outfielder George Foster. 44-game hitting streak. On May 5, 1978, Rose became the 13th player in Major League history to collect his 3,000th career hit, with a single off Montreal Expos pitcher Steve Rogers. On June 14 in Cincinnati, Rose singled in the first inning off Cubs pitcher Dave Roberts. Rose would proceed to get a hit in every game he played until August 1, making a run at Joe DiMaggio unregistered trademark S record 56-game hitting streak, which had stood virtually unchallenged for 37 years. The streak started quietly, but by the time it had reached 30 games, the media took notice and a pool of reporters accompanied Rose and the Reds to every game. On July 19 against the Philadelphia Phillies, Rose was hitless going into the 9th with his team trailing. He ended up walking in the 8th inning and the streak appeared over. But the Reds managed to bat through their entire lineup, giving Rose another chance to bat in the 9th inning. Facing Ron Reed, Rose laid down a perfect bunt single to extend the streak to 32 games. He would eventually tie Willie Keeler's 1897 single-season National League record at 44 games, but on August 1, the streak came to an end as Gene Garber of the Atlanta Braves struck out Rose in the 9th inning. The competitive Rose was sour after the game, blasting Garber and the Braves for treating the situation like it was the 9th inning of the 7th game of the World Series instead of being insulted. Garber took the comment as a compliment. "I said to myself, well, thanks, Pete. That's how I try to pitch every time I'm in a game." Philadelphia Phillies. The Philadelphia Phillies had won the National League East 3 years running, 2 of which were won with 101-win seasons, but were unable to make it to the World Series. In 1979, believing that he was the player who could bring them over the top, the Phillies temporarily made Rose the highest-paid athlete in team sports when they signed him to a 4-year, $3.2 million contract as a free agent. With perennial All-Star Mike Schmidt firmly entrenched at third, Rose made the final position change of his career to first base. Although they missed the postseason in his first year with the team, they earned 3 division titles, 2 World Series appearances and their first ever World Series title in the following 4 years. The worst season of Rose's career was also the season that the Phillies played in their second World Series in 4 years, 1983. Rose batted only .245 with 121 hits, and found himself benched during the latter part of the '83 season, appearing periodically to play and pinch hit. Rose did blossom as a pinch hitter, with 8 hits in 21 at-bats, a .381 average. Pete Rose bounced back in a big way during the postseason, batting .375 during the NL playoffs against the Los Angeles Dodgers, and .312 in the World Series. Rose collected only 1 hit in his first 8 at-bats in the first 2 games in Baltimore against the 1983 AL champions. Rose found himself benched for Game 3 back in Philadelphia, and would ground out in a pinch-hitting appearance. Ever the competitor, Rose objected to his manager's Paul Owens' decision to bench him in a pre-game interview with ABC's Howard Cosell. Rose bounced back with 4 hits in his last 7 at-bats in the remaining 2 games. Still, the Phillies lost decisively to the Baltimore Orioles in the 1983 World Series, 4-1. Montreal Expos. Rose was granted an unconditional release from the Phillies in late October 1983. Phillies management wanted to retain Rose for the 1984 season, but he refused to accept a more limited playing role. Months later, he signed a one-year contract with the Montreal Expos. On April 13, 1984, the 21st anniversary of his first career hit, Rose doubled off of the Phillies unregistered trademark Jerry Koosman for his 4,000th career hit, becoming only the second player in the 4,000 hit club. The hit king, Rose was traded to the Reds for infielder Tom Lawless on August 15, 1984 and was immediately named player-manager, replacing Reds manager Vern Rapp. Though he only batted .259 for the Expos, his average jumped to .365 with the Reds, as he managed them to a 19-22 record for the remainder of the season. On September 11, 1985, Rose broke T.Y. Cobb unregistered trademark S all-time hits record with his 4,192nd hit, a single to left center field off San Diego Padres pitcher Eric Show. According to its website, MLB.com, Major League Baseball continues to recognize Cobb's final hit total as 4,191, though independent research has revealed that two of Cobb's hits were counted twice. Because of this, it has been suggested that Rose actually broke Cobb's record against the Cubs' Reggie Patterson with a single in the first inning of a Reds 5-5 called game against Chicago on September 8. Because Rose broke Cobb's record, ABC's Wide World of Sports named Rose as its Athlete of the Year that year. Rose accumulated a total of 4,256 hits before his final career at bat, a strikeout against San Diego unregistered trademark S. Goose Gossage on August 17, 1986. Retirement from playing. On November 11, 1986, Rose was dropped from the Reds' unregistered trademark 40-man roster to make room for pitcher Pat Pasillo, and he unofficially retired as a player. Rose finished his career with a number of Major League and National League records that have lasted for many years. Rose, always proud of his ability to hit .300 or better in 15 of his 24 playing seasons, had a lifetime .303 batting average. Rose managed the Reds from August 15, 1984 to August 24, 1989, with a 426-388 record. During his 4 full seasons at the helm, the Reds posted 4 second-place finishes in the NL West Division. His 426 managerial wins rank 5th in Reds history. 30-day suspension. On April 30, 1988, during a home game against the New York Mets, with 2 out in the top of the 9th inning, umpire Dave Pallone made a late call at first base that allowed what would become the eventual game-winning run to score. Rose argued the call vehemently and made physical contact with the umpire, forcefully pushing him. Rose told reporters after the game that he shoved Pallone only after the umpire made contact with him. He said a scratch near his left eye proved Pallone touched him first. In his 1990 book, Pallone claimed that scratch was self-inflicted in the clubhouse after the ejection. National League President A. Bartlett Giamatti suspended Rose for 30 days, which was the longest suspension ever levied for an on-field incident involving a manager. Giamatti said, for forcefully and deliberately shoving an umpire, the manager of the Reds, Mr. Pete Rose, is suspended for 30 days and fined a substantial amount. Cincinnati fans showered the field with various objects including radios and cigarette lighters. After a 15-minute suspension of play, umpire Pallone left the field and the game was completed with the remaining 3 umpires. Giamatti also summoned the on-air announcers at the game and said inciting the unacceptable behavior of some of the fans were the inflammatory and completely irresponsible remarks of local radio broadcasters Marty Brennaman and Joe Nuxhall. There is no excuse for encouraging a situation where the physical safety and well-being of any individual is put significantly at risk. Nothing justifies such unprofessional behavior. Permanent ineligibility. Amid reports that he had bet on baseball, Rose was questioned in February 1989 by outgoing Commissioner Peter Weberath and his replacement, Bart Giamatti. Rose denied the allegations and Weberath dropped the investigation. However, 3 days after Giamatti became commissioner, lawyer John M. Dowd was retained to investigate these charges against Rose. Sports Illustrated gave the public their first detailed report of the allegations that Rose had placed bets on baseball games on March 21, 1989, in the cover story of the issue dated April 3, 1989. Investigation. Dowd interviewed many of Rose's associates, including alleged bookies and bet runners. He delivered a summary of his findings to the commissioner in May. In it, Dowd documented Rose's alleged gambling activities in 1985 and 1986 and compiled a day-by-day account of Rose's alleged betting on baseball games in 1987. The Dowd report documented his alleged bets on 52 Reds games in 1987, where Rose wagered a minimum of $10,000 a day. Others alleged to have been involved in the activities claim that number was actually $2,000 a day. Response: Rose continued to deny all of the accusations against him and refused to appear at a hearing with Giamatti on the matter. He filed a lawsuit in Hamilton County Common Pleas Court alleging that the commissioner has prejudged the case and could not provide a fair hearing. A Cincinnati judge issued a temporary restraining order to delay the hearing, but Giamatti fought to have the case moved to federal court. The commissioner prevailed in that effort, after which he and Rose entered settlement negotiations. Aftermath: on August 24, 1989, Rose voluntarily accepted a permanent place on Baseball unregistered trademark S ineligible list. Rose accepted that there was a factual reason for the ban. In return, Major League Baseball agreed to make no formal finding with regard to the gambling allegations. According to baseball's rules, Rose could apply for reinstatement in 1 year, but Bart Giamatti said, "There is absolutely no deal for reinstatement. That is exactly what we did not agree to in terms of a fixed number of years." Rose, with a €412,373 record, was replaced as Reds manager by Tommy Helms. Rose began therapy with a psychiatrist for treatment of a gambling addiction. Giamatti died of a heart attack on September 1, 1989, 8 days after announcing Rose's suspension. Betting for or against, the Dowd report says, no evidence was discovered that Rose bet against the Reds, but investigator Dowd stated in a December 2002 interview that he believed Rose probably bet against the Reds while managing them. Those critical of Rose's behavior, including Ohio's own Hall of Fame baseball reporter, Hal McCoy, have observed that the major problem with Rose betting on baseball, particularly the Reds, is that as manager he could control games, make decisions that could enhance his chances of winning his bets, thus jeopardizing the integrity of the game. The Major League Baseball rule that Rose violated prohibits any bet on a game the bettor is involved in, making no distinction between betting for or against one's team. The rule is, Rule 21 misconduct, betting on ball games, any player, umpire, or club, or league official, or employee, who shall bet any sum whatsoever upon any baseball game in connection with which the bettor has a duty to perform shall be declared permanently ineligible. Reinstatement efforts. In 1992, Rose applied for reinstatement. Fay Vincent, who as deputy commissioner had played a key role in negotiating the agreement banning Rose before becoming commissioner after Giamatti's death, never acted on Rose's application. In September 1999, Rose applied for reinstatement with Vincent's successor Bud Slig, but Slig also never acted on it. In public comments, Slig said he saw no reason to reconsider Rose's punishment. However, in March 2003, Slig acknowledged that he was considering Rose's application, leading to speculation that Rose's return might be imminent. Ultimately, however, Slig took no action. On July 27, 2009, the New York Daily News reported that Commissioner Slig has seriously considered lifting Rose's lifetime suspension from baseball. The next day, Slig shot down these rumors and Rose remains suspended, indefinitely. On June 17, 2014, Rose told ESPN, "I haven't given up on Bud Slig." Since his banishment from the game, Rose has made money by signing autographs and doing endorsement deals, including a recent shoe deal with Skechers and a deal with a daily fantasy league called Sports Beat. Tax evasion. On April 20, 1990, Rose pleaded guilty to 2 charges of filing false income tax returns not showing income he received from selling autographs and memorabilia, and from horse racing winnings. On July 19, Rose was sentenced to 5 months in the medium-security prison camp at the United States Penitentiary in Marion, Illinois and fined $50,000. Marion was the hometown of Foss, the man whom Rose bowled over during the All-Star Game nearly 20 years prior, resulting in injuries that would plague Foss for the rest of his career. He was released on January 7, 1991 after having paid $366,041 in back taxes and interest, and was required to perform 1,000 hours of community service. Hall of Fame eligibility. On February 4, 1991, the Hall of Fame voted formally to exclude individuals on the permanently ineligible list from being inducted into the Hall of Fame by way of the Baseball Writers Association of America vote. Rose is the only living member of the ineligible list. Players who were not selected by the BBWAA could be considered by the Veterans Committee in the first year after they would have lost their place on the baseball writers' ballot. Under the Hall's rules, players may appear on the ballot for only 15 years, beginning 5 years after they retire. Had he not been banned from baseball, Rose's name could have been on the writers' ballot beginning in 1992 and ending in 2006. He would have been eligible for consideration by the Veterans Committee in 2007, but did not appear on the ballot. In 2008 the Veterans Committee barred players and managers on the ineligible list from consideration. As players associated with the steroid era such as Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens have become eligible for consideration for the Hall of Fame, journalists, fans, and baseball personnel have again discussed Rose's permanent ineligibility. Rose himself has been ambivalent on the damage steroids did to baseball. He has repeatedly described Alex Rodriguez as his favorite player, but has criticized steroid users as having cheated their way past records set by Babe Ruth and Roger Maris, and has said that gambling, unlike steroids, did not risk damaging one's body. MLB All-Century Team. In 1999, Rose was selected as an outfielder on the Major League Baseball All-Century Team. To select the team, a panel of experts first compiled a list of the 100 greatest players from the past century. Fans then voted on the players using paper and online ballots. An exception was made to his ban to allow him to participate in the pre-game introduction of the All-Century Team before Game 2 of the 1999 World Series between the Braves and Yankees. Despite never having been a member of the Braves, Rose received the loudest ovation of the All-Century Team members from the crowd at Turner Field in Atlanta, Georgia. After the ceremony on live television, NBC's Jim Gray repeatedly asked Rose if he was ready to admit to betting on baseball and apologize. Many people were outraged over Gray's aggressive questioning, feeling that it detracted from the ceremony. In protest, Yankees outfielder Chad Curtis, at the behest of his team, refused to speak with Gray after his game-winning home run in Game 3. Earlier that season, Rose had been ranked at number 25 on the Sporting News list of the 100 greatest baseball players. While allowing him to participate in the All-Century Team, and a September 2010 celebration at Great American Ballpark of the 25th anniversary of Rose's 4,192nd hit, MLB has refused to allow him to participate in other events in Cincinnati, such as the 25th anniversary reunion of the Big Red Machine, the closing of Synergy Field, and the opening of Great American Ballpark, as well as the closing of Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia and 1980 Phillies anniversary celebrations. Coming Clean, in his autobiography My Prison Without Bars, published by Rodale Press on January 8, 2004, Rose finally admitted publicly to betting on baseball games and other sports while playing for and managing the Reds. He also admitted to betting on Reds games, but said that he never bet against the Reds. He repeated his admissions in an interview on the ABC News program Primetime Thursday. He also said in the book that he hoped his admissions would help end his ban from baseball so that he could reapply for reinstatement. In March 2007 during an interview on The Dan Patrick Show on ESPN Radio, Rose said, "I bet on my team every night. I didn't bet on my team 4 nights a week. I bet on my team to win every night because I loved my team, I believed in my team," he said. "I did everything in my power every night to win that game." John Dowd disputed Rose's contention that he bet on the Reds every night, asserting that Rose did not bet on his team when Mario Soto or Bill Gullickson pitched. However, Dowd's allegations did not match the records contained in his own report. A notebook detailing Rose's daily betting activity shows that Rose did in fact place bets on 5 of the 6 games Soto started in 1987. The lone exception was April 26, 1987, when Rose allegedly placed bets on hockey and basketball games but no baseball games. Those records also show he bet on every game that Gullickson started during the time period which the betting notebook covered. The criticism of Rose did not diminish after this admission. Even some Rose supporters were outraged that Rose would suddenly reverse 15 years of denials as part of a book publicity tour. In addition, the timing was called into question by making his admission just 2 days after the Baseball Hall of Fame announced its class of 2004 inductees. Rose appeared to be linking himself publicly to the Hall. Further adding to the debate was the 2004 ESPN made-for-TV movie Hustle, starring Tom Sizemore as Rose, which documents Rose's gambling problem and his subsequent ban from baseball. Even after his 2004 admission of gambling, Rose had described his violation of MLB rules with what journalist Kostya Kennedy described as a kind of swagger, that familiar screw defiance. On September 11, 2010, however, at a Roast of Rose held at Hollywood Casino Lawrenceburg in Indiana on the 25th anniversary of his 4,192nd hit and attended by many teammates, Rose wept while acknowledging that he had disrespected baseball. He apologized to PA copyright Rez and other members of the Big Red Machine, stating, "I guarantee everyone in this room I will never disrespect you again. I love the fans, I love the game of baseball, and I love Cincinnati baseball." His words and crying surprised those present. A Cincinnati Enquirer reporter said it felt completely unscripted, completely sincere and very powerful. "I had covered Rose for more than 25 years and hadn't ever heard him like that." WWE. Between 1998 and 2000, Rose appeared at World Wrestling Entertainment's annual WrestleMania pay-per-view event. At WrestleMania 14 he served as guest ring announcer during a match between Kane and The Undertaker, before which he took a tombstone pile driver from Kane. For the next year's WrestleMania 15, Rose was portrayed as seeking revenge. To do so he dressed as the San Diego Chicken and attacked Kane before his scheduled match, only to take another tombstone. He returned for a third time the following year, at WrestleMania 2000, but again was thwarted by Kane, as well as Rikishi, his tag team partner that night. In addition to these 3 appearances, he appeared in a Halloween-themed commercial for WWE's No Mercy event in 2002 and was chokeslammed by Kane. In 2004, Rose was inducted into the celebrity wing of the WWE Hall of Fame. He was the first celebrity to go into the Hall, and was inducted at a ceremony prior to WrestleMania 20 by Kane himself. On March 22, 2010, he appeared as the guest host on WWE Raw, which was the last episode of Raw before WrestleMania XXVI. As his first order of business, he set up a match between Shawn Michaels and Kane, which Michaels won. Later on in the night, Kane attacked Rose off-screen. Rose was briefly mentioned on WWE television again on August 27, 2012. In an anger management segment, Kane stated that for reasons never quite explained, "I have an unhealthy obsession with torturing Pete Rose." Rose was later interviewed on WWE.com about his experiences with Kane's anger. Personal life: Rose married Carolyn Engelhart on January 25, 1964, and the couple had 2 children, daughter Fawn and son Pete Rose Jr. The couple divorced in 1980. In 1978, a paternity suit was filed naming Rose as the father of Morgan Erin Rubio. In a 1996 settlement of the lawsuit, Rose acknowledged that Rubio was his daughter. Rose married his second wife, Carol J. Wallung, in 1984. They have 2 children, son Tyler and daughter Cara. Rose filed for divorce from Carol in March 2011. The 69-year-old Rose cited irreconcilable differences for the split, but his petition did not offer any additional details. Rose did not include a date for their separation. Documents in the filing say that Rose is looking to acquire all memorabilia and other possessions before the marriage. Rose began openly having a relationship with Kiana Kim, a Playboy model, while separated from his second wife, to whom he was married for 20 years. During a 2009 interview, Rose discussed his relationship with Kim, stating, "My girl has finally decided to try to shoot for Playboy, and they were kind enough to give her an opportunity to come to Houston for an interview, and we unregistered trademark re-excited about that." A reality show called Pete Rose, Hits and Misses, following the life of Rose and Kim, premiered on TLC on January 14, 2013. Two of Rose's children have lived public lives. Cara has worked as a television actress, appearing as a regular in the first season of the soap opera Passions and playing a recurring role on Melrose Place. She uses the stage name Kia Courtney. His older son, Pete Rose, Jr., spent 16 years as a minor league baseball player, advancing to the majors once for an 11-game stint with the Cincinnati Reds in 1997. As of March 2014, Rose earns more than $1 million annually from many paid public appearances and autograph signings. Among these are those held in Cooperstown, New York around Hall of Fame induction weekend each year. Although Rose does not stay at the Otejega Resort Hotel with other baseball people and cannot attend the ceremonies, many fans gather for his autograph. Records and achievements: Major League records, most career hits Euro 4,256, most career outs Euro 10,328, most career games played Euro 3,562, most career at-bats Euro 14,053, most career singles Euro 3,215, most career runs by a switch hitter Euro 2,165, most career doubles by a switch hitter Euro 746, most career walks by a switch hitter Euro 1,566, most career total bases by a switch hitter Euro 5,752, most seasons of 200 or more hits Euro 10, most consecutive seasons of 100 or more hits Euro 23, most consecutive seasons with 600 or more at-bats Euro 13, most seasons with 600 at-bats Euro 17, most seasons with 150 or more games played Euro 17, most seasons with 100 or more games played Euro 23, record for playing in a most winning games Euro 1972, only player in Major League history to play more than 500 games at 5 different positions Euro 1B, LF, 3B, 2B, RF. National League records, most years played Euro 24, most consecutive years played Euro 24, most career runs Euro 2,165, most career doubles Euro 746, most career games with 5 or more hits Euro 10, modern NL record for longest consecutive game hitting streak in LA Euro 44, modern record for most consecutive hitting streaks of 20 or more games Euro 7. See also: References. External links, career statistics and player information from MLB, Aura ESPN, Aura Baseball Reference, Aura Fangraphs, Aura The Baseball Cube, Aura Baseball Reference, Retrosheet Profile, Venezuelan Baseball League Statistics, Official Website, Unofficial Website, WWE Hall of Fame Profile.